got into serving, started 19 years ago when I married my Navy man, and he moved me 12 hours from family.
We had families staying with us for Christmas years ago, and they decided they wanted to go to church. We had been to a lot of churches, and I really never could find a church that we liked, and Eileen suggested coming here. She had heard about Christ Church.
I got started, it was around 2013, and my relationship with Christ was growing. In doing Bible study, I learned and was really feeling convicted about serving. I was understanding that I wasn't put on this earth to serve myself. I was here to serve God and to serve others.
When we got here, it was super overwhelming because it was bigger than anything that we had ever been to. So walking in the door, first time was crazy. I got plugged into the cafe. That was my first stop. Moved from the cafe to the kids, went from littles to middles to elementary.
The atmosphere here and the way they did the service was wonderful. So I agreed to come back, and I would join eventually, but I wasn't going to volunteer to do anything.
My husband started playing on the worship team, and I just saw what an amazing team they were, and I decided that I wanted to try it. So that's how I ended up in tech. I did notice that when I was in my little booth that I didn't get a get out, and that's when I started missing people, my interaction with people, a lot of people, and I was used to that and I missed that. So I decided to volunteer with the greeting team.
Something came over me, this wonderful feeling of just being protected. It's the only way I could describe it. And within a week's time, I called one of the pastors here. He didn't even know who I was. I called him and I said, "Could I talk to you?" I went into his office and we sat, and it was interesting. He rattled off all these things I could volunteer to do, and I didn't want to do any of them until he said, "Grief share." And I said, "That's it." I'd worked with people with grieving most of my life, and that was where I wanted to be. I knew right away.
Coming to Christ Church was a totally different experience. You felt love as soon as you walked in the door. People reached out to you, and before I knew it, after I went through the Discover classes and the growth group, I was on the prayer team at that time. I was also serving communion, and then before I knew it, one of the pastors approached me and said, "How would you like to facilitate divorce care?"
During a Sunday service, they mentioned a Discover Christ Church class was coming up, and it was an opportunity to learn about Christ Church and getting plugged in. I did do some test drives in different ministries. I have helped out in Starting Point, guest services. Sometimes I'll jump in cafe and help out there. I actually love that, having the opportunity to try out different areas.
What has kept me serving above anything else is the relationships that you form with these people. They become family to you, and you can't do life without them. And they get you through the good times and the bad and the hard, and you go away and you come back and they're still there, and those relationships are amazing.
This is the first time in my whole life I feel like this church, unlike any church I've ever attended before, is family. Everyone that comes here are friends. I can't wait to see them.
I keep serving because I just feel as though this is what God wants me to do. There's days when I say, I can't do this. I work full time, and I just say, it's hard, but I said, I can't give up on it. I can't stop. I have so many people depending on me, and I love them. I want to help them, and that's just why I keep doing it.
In the beginning, it was definitely the motivation of why I started in the first place, which was I wanted to be pleasing to God. I have a church family now, and that was something that I never had prior to serving. Prior to serving, it was like I would just come to church and then I would leave, and that was it. And I didn't realize how much more there was to it. And now it's like I can come to church, and if I'm not scheduled to serve, I almost feel like I'm missing something.
Serving has made all the difference in our lives. When we were first married, we, were just in love and not really thinking about anything else in our relationship with God and making that a priority in our life. And we really suffered a little. But when we finally decided that we were going to focus on that and make God the center, everything changed.
Before in my life, when I would help people, if it was grieving or if it was just me being me, I'd always help people. But now I'm helping, and I'm working with God as my pilot. And it's really different in the respect that you really have more motivation. When God enters your life the way He's entered our lives, it changes everything.
I'm different in some ways because I feel like I have more of a purpose. And this is the purpose and the walk that God wants me to take.
I'm more complete and I'm more whole now that I've started serving, and I am definitely more confident when I can talk to people and share the good news with them. And just knowing that I can invite people to church on Sunday and say, this is my home church, and I would love for you to come with us and sit with us. And there's just, I guess, a confidence there that I didn't have before about bringing others to God in some way, shape, or form.